Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to some Alien news again. Alien Romulus, specifically. It's done in theatres. It's done. It's now, of course, gone over to digital. Or you can... I think they are doing a Blu-ray for this. But basically, it's now on streaming. You can get it, okay? So we've got the numbers in, and they're actually really, really decent. They're really, really decent. So... this is more, I mean, I'm going to cover the news, obviously, and the figures. You see from the title of the video, just right here, 350 million, which is insane. For this movie, that's fantastic. But it's also just to discuss the potential chance of a sequel, which I think is very, very, very high. Like, incredibly high. If not, already those conversations have happened, and they will announce it shortly. This is something that you jump on. So this is what this video pertains to. Hit subscribe if you're new here, and do turn those bell notifications on. I have to ask, because there's lots of people that watch the channel, just, you know, they aren't subscribed, and there's a lot of people that don't have notifications on. You know, views are massively down at the moment, and a lot of that is because subscribers aren't getting notifications. So sorry, but I do have to ask. Let's take a look. So this is over on AVP Galaxy, and they say since the last time we checked on its impressive box office debut and subsequent strong weekends, Alien Romulus has finally left cinemas while passing one last milestone. So according to Box Office Mojo, which is reasonably good for their figures, sometimes they're a little bit whack on it, but most of the time they're okay. The film was past $350 million worldwide. So that sits now currently at 350 point... well, it's almost $350.5 million. So 350... 423,353. That's crazy. That's great. It's got 105 million domestically, which is good. That's great. You know, it would make no mistake. 20th Century Fox would have, well, 20th Century Studios would have wanted it to make more money domestically, but they're not going to sniff at this. This is still really good numbers for them. So the majority of the film's total gross came from the international market, and when they say domestically, they're talking about the United States. That's what they mean. And so international, yeah, it still counts for the UK and things like that. It's just anything outside of the US. So that actually accounted for 70% of the movie's earnings. Romulus performed incredibly well in China. Now, a lot of people will say that that's to detriment, but I would argue that that's not really the case with this film. Mainly because Disney, and, you know, by definition and by virtue of Disney owning 20th Century Studios and Alien, they have a better take when it comes to China. They get more of the money that a normal studio would get. So although it's still less than domestic, they still take more than what other studios do. But that did actually bring in a third of the total gross, and was the country's second biggest 2024 Hollywood release behind Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, which is madness. You know, it's not a huge surprise. Like, you know, the Asian markets, the Southeast Asian markets, do really like this type of movie. And evidently, so does the rest of the world. So it says this: with those returns, Alien Romulus is the second most successful film in the franchise in both opening weekend and total gross. It didn't quite catch Prometheus's massive numbers, because I think they did like 450 million worldwide, I think, if I remember rightly. But it is likely seen as just as much of a success by the studio, given its slimmer production budget of around $80 million. Alien Romulus also significantly outperformed the last theatrical Alien film, which is Alien Covenant, bringing in over $100 million more than that film. Now, obviously, you adjust it for inflation and things like that. It might be a different picture. I haven't done that. I don't know. But that's still fantastic. It's still great. Now, that, you know, I do have to sort of push back a little bit on the production budget element. So $80 million. It was less than $80 million. It was less. Because they filmed in Budapest, which does have a 30% tax situation. Now, having looked into it before, I've covered it in a video before, but it looks to be a similar tax break to what the UK offers, which is not necessarily a tax break, but it is. Essentially, they just give you 30% of your production budget back. You know, a certain amount of money which is spent in the country is given back to you. Not taxed. It just means you pay less tax overall, because you still pay tax in the country, but because they give you a certain amount of that money back. That's how the sort of tax break works, because you're paying tax on less of a production budget, basically. It just is what it is. It's a weird setup. So the 80 million could very well still be $56 million. No one will really know until this comes, from like someone involved in the production properly. But it still could be around that figure. So this is a roaring success. It's an incredible success for the studio. And the article says this, that, reception to the film was generally positive, with an 80% on the Rotten Tomatoes critic-based tomato meter and 85% for the site's audience-rated popcorn meter. So basically, people really liked this film. It says this: as of October 15th, Alien Romulus is now available on video on demand streaming platforms and has continued its strong performance there. The movie debuted number 1 on the iTunes Apple TV charts within 24 hours of release. That's amazing. It also did very well on other streaming platforms. It's currently number 4 on Amazon Prime Video and number 5 on Fandango. That's great. And it does say the physical version of the film, Blu-ray, DVD, will be coming out a bit later on December 3rd. So just in time for Christmas. That's amazing news. Now, what's the prospect of a sequel here? Huge prospect of a sequel. It's almost guaranteed to get a sequel. It's nearly guaranteed to get a sequel. And the reason why you can say that with strong certainty, like 90% certainty that this will get a follow-up film, is the likes of... You got to put yourself in 20th Century Fox's shoes anyway and analyse what they've been doing. So before this film was released and announced, they'd already announced they were doing a TV show, right? The Alien Earth TV show. So there's that in the works. They've confirmed they're doing a sequel to... Is it Aliens Fireteam Elite or is it Aliens Dark Descent? One of the two. They're doing a sequel to that. So it's another video game. There's another... Well, it was rumoured anyway. There's a VR game. Rogue Incursion. There's Alien Isolation sequel. And then this has come out, done very, very well. It doesn't make any sense for them not to do a follow-up. They're primed to mine this as an IP now, which is not necessarily a negative thing, FYI. Right? It's just not. I know some people will view mining IPs as bad. Yes, as a broad stroke concept, it's bad. But when it's done right, it's good. It just means we get more content, which is great. So this will undoubtedly get a sequel. Please greenlight a sequel. Get it underway soon. Get Fede Alvarez back on board. He understands. And you know what? Don't give it any more money. Don't give him any more money. It doesn't need any more money. They prove that they don't need any more money. Right? So no. Get a sequel underway. Give it the same $80 million budget. Film it in Budapest. But get Fede Alvarez back. So there you go. Great news for Alien fans. Great news for the Alien franchise. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye now.